Have you ever sat down and thought about the things you'd want your children to know before you go? Not just about the practical things, bank accounts, wills, or where to find important documents, but the words of wisdom that only you can give them. The things you've learned through a lifetime of experience, the things that, once you're no longer here, they'll wish they had asked you. It's not always easy to have these conversations. Maybe you don't know where to start, or maybe you worry they won't want to hear it. But here's the truth. Even if they don't realize it now, they will one day. And when that day comes, they'll hold on to your words like a treasure. That's why today, we're talking about the 5 most important things you should share with your children while you still can. First, tell them about your life. Really tell them. Not just the milestones, not just the big moments, but the little things that shaped you. What was your childhood like? What were your dreams when you were young? What was the hardest decision you ever had to make? They might think they know you, but there's so much they don't. And one day, they'll wish they had asked you these things themselves. Think about the stories that define who you are. Maybe it was the time you took a big risk that changed your life, or the moment you realized what truly mattered to you. Maybe it's the lessons you learned from your own parents, the things they told you, or the things they never got a chance to say. Your children need to hear those stories, because long after you're gone, they won't just remember you as their parent. They'll remember you as a person, a human being with a history that is now part of their own. And don't just share the good moments. Share the struggles too. Let them know about the times you made mistakes, the times you failed, and what you learned from it. So often, children only see their parents as these strong, unshakable figures. But the truth is, you've had your own battles. Let them know it's okay to struggle, to fall down, and to get back up again. Your experiences can be a guide for them, a light they can turn on when life gets tough. Now, beyond your personal stories, there's something else that's just as important. Letting them know what truly matters in life. Not money, not success, not the things that people chase after endlessly, but the real things: love, kindness, integrity, and the people we hold close. If you've learned anything over the years, it's that life is short. The things we think are so important when we're young often turn out to be meaningless. But love is what remains. Tell them to cherish their relationships, to make time for the people who matter, to never let pride stop them from saying, "I'm sorry" or "I love you." If there's one thing you can leave them with, it's the knowledge that at the end of the day, it's not about what you have, it's about who you have. That's what they'll remember, and that's what will bring them happiness. And speaking of happiness, let them know that it's not something to be found, it's something to be chosen. So many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect job, the perfect home, the perfect moment. But happiness isn't in the future. It's in the little moments, in the everyday things that we often take for granted. A warm cup of coffee in the morning, a conversation with an old friend, the feeling of the sun on your face. Teach them to see the beauty in the ordinary, to appreciate what they have while they have it. There's so much more to say, but for now, let's pause here. Because these are the kinds of conversations that aren't meant to be rushed. They're meant to be felt, to be reflected on. And as we continue, we'll dive even deeper into the things that truly matter, the things your children need to hear before it's too late. As we continue, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've already discussed, sharing your stories, your experiences, and the wisdom you've gathered over the years. These are the things your children will carry with them long after you're gone. But there's something else just as important, something that too often gets left unsaid: your love and your pride in them. Have you told your children, truly told them, how much they mean to you? Not in passing, not in a casual love you at the end of a phone call, but in a way that leaves no doubt in their minds. No matter how old they are, no matter how successful or independent they may seem, your children still need to hear that you're proud of them. They need to know that, in your eyes, they are enough, just as they are. Life has a way of making people doubt themselves. They wonder if they've done enough, if they've made the right choices, if they've lived up to expectations. And while you're still here, you have the power to lift that weight off their shoulders. Tell them, in no uncertain terms, that they don't have to be perfect, that they don't have to achieve some grand success to be worthy of love, that in your eyes, they have already given you more than you could have ever asked for. Because one day, When they look back, they will cling to those words like a lifeline. And while you're at it, remind them to be kind to themselves. Too often, we are our own worst critics. We dwell on our mistakes. We replay our failures. We carry regrets that serve no purpose but to weigh us down. If you could give your children one final gift, let it be the knowledge that they are enough just as they are, that their worth is not measured by what they accomplish, but by the kindness in their hearts and the love they share with others. Now, speaking of love, there's one more thing they need to know: how to let go of resentment. Life is too short to hold on to anger. And yet, so many people carry grudges, nursing old wounds that only cause them pain. If there is one lesson that age teaches us, it's that time is precious. The things we once thought were so important, the arguments, the misunderstandings, the stubborn pride, none of it truly matters in the end. What matters is the time we have with the people we love. Encourage your children to mend broken relationships where they can, to forgive, not for the sake of others, but for their own peace. Let them know that letting go of anger doesn't mean forgetting or excusing hurtful behavior. It simply means choosing not to let the past steal their future. If you've ever lost someone before making peace with them, you know the ache of unspoken words, the weight of things left unsaid. Don't let your children carry that burden. Tell them now, while you still can, that peace is always worth more than pride. These are the things that truly matter. Not money, not achievements, not the things we spend so much of our lives worrying about. Love, forgiveness, the ability to see the beauty in life and to appreciate the people around us while we still have them. And there's still more to say, because beyond love and forgiveness, there's one more lesson your children need to hear, one that will help them face the future with strength and grace. As we continue this conversation, there's something important I want you to think about. One day, your children will face the world without you. They'll wake up and go about their lives, but there will be moments, quiet, unexpected moments, when they reach for the phone to call you, only to remember they can't. And when that happens, what will you have left behind for them? Not just in terms of belongings or financial security, but in the lessons and strength they'll need to keep going. Because one of the greatest gifts you can give your children is the confidence to stand on their own, to trust themselves, and to know that no matter what life throws their way, they will be okay. That's why you must remind them of their own strength. Tell them that they are capable, that they have everything they need within them to handle whatever comes next. Life will test them. There will be losses, disappointments, moments where they question everything. But they must remember that resilience isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about facing it and choosing to move forward anyway. And more than anything, they need to hear from you that they don't have to do it alone. Too often, people mistake independence for isolation. They think they have to carry their burdens in silence, to figure everything out by themselves. But the truth is, we were never meant to go through life alone. Tell your children that it's okay to ask for help. That strength isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about knowing when to lean on the people who love you. If you've ever struggled in silence, if you've ever felt like you had to carry the weight of the world on your own shoulders, then you know how important this message is. Let them know that no matter how strong they are, they don't have to be strong all the time. They don't have to have all the answers. They just have to keep moving forward, one step at a time, and trust that they will find their way. Now, along with resilience, there's another truth they need to hear, something that people often don't realize until it's too late. And that is the importance of making peace with the past. As you look back on your own life, you might have regrets. Choices you wish you had made differently, things you wish you had said or done. But if there's one thing you've learned, it's that regret is a heavy burden to carry. And the only way to truly live is to let go of what cannot be changed. Your children will have their own regrets, their own moments of self-doubt. But you can help them understand that no one gets everything right. Life isn't about perfection. It's about learning, growing, and doing the best we can with the time we have. Let them know that mistakes are not failures. They're lessons. And the only real failure is letting the past keep them from moving forward. And while they're learning to make peace with their past, remind them to also embrace the present. Because in the end, life is not measured by the years we live, but by the moments we truly experience. Tell them to slow down, to be present, to appreciate the laughter of their children, the warmth of the sun, the simple joy of a quiet morning. Too many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect time, the perfect circumstances, the perfect future. But life is happening right now. And if there's anything you want them to know before you go, it's that they must not waste it. And there's still one last important thing to tell them. Something that will stay with them long after everything else fades. Now that we've talked about love, resilience, and the importance of living in the present, there's one last thing you must tell your children. Something that, above all else, will guide them through life when you're no longer here. And that is this: they must live in a way that brings them peace, not in a way that pleases others, not in a way that follows expectations set by society or even by you, but in a way that, at the end of the day, allows them to lay their head down at night and feel at peace with who they are. Because too many people live their lives chasing something that was never truly theirs to begin with. They follow paths that were chosen for them. They stay in jobs they don't love, relationships that don't fulfill them, routines that drain them, all because they think they're supposed to. And before they know it, years have passed, and they wonder where their time went. Tell them now, while you still can, that they have permission to live life on their own terms. That it's okay to change directions, to start over, to walk away from things that no longer bring them joy. That their happiness is not something to be sacrificed for the sake of pleasing others. And if they ever find themselves lost, remind them to return to the things that truly matter. The things that bring them comfort, purpose, and love. Because no amount of success, wealth, or recognition will ever compare to the quiet contentment of a life well lived. Tell them not to wait to say the things that need to be said, not to wait for someday to do the things that set their soul on fire, not to assume that time will always be on their side. Because if there's one thing life has taught you, it's that none of us are promised tomorrow. And finally, let them know that when the day comes that they can no longer hear your voice, they can still find you. In the lessons you've shared, in the love you've given, in the way they choose to carry forward the best of what you've taught them. Because in the end, that's what truly lasts. Not the things we leave behind, but the love, wisdom, and strength we pass on. And that, more than anything, is the greatest gift you could ever give.